Bolt is the newest epic tank coming to the game. That's right, we are getting an epic brawler. He is a toy from what's called the Battle Bumpers line. I believe that this is a brand new trio, and he deals damage by rolling into things. Apparently, he always wanted to be a race car, so he always tries to go as fast as possible.
Wait, Pedal, what's that? Bolt and joke. Buckle up, it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Stick around for the end of the video where we show all of his voice lines and pins. We're gonna start off by talking about Bolt's movement and a couple of traits that he has. So Bolt's movement is very different than every other brawler. He actually starts out slower than, I'm pretty sure, even 8-bit. He's really slow at the start, but the longer he moves in a straight-ish line, the faster he gets to be faster than pretty much every other brawler in the game, which is insane. Now, he deals damage based off of how fast he's going. At 0 speed, he does 1080 damage. You can take a look at this little blue line underneath his ammo bar that shows how many lights he has. Those represent how fast he is moving. At maximum speed, he deals 1800 damage. That happens at 8 lights, which this is a little confusing because if you actually count, you'll see he has 7 little lights right there. But after the 7th one lights up, then they go yellow, and the yellow bar actually represents him reaching maximum speed where he does maximum damage. For the purpose of this video and making things nice and easy to explain, I'm going to count the yellow lights as the 8th light. That's how you know he's at max speed, and there's a few things you have to pay attention to. First of all, if he hits a wall, then he slows down. If you turn too fast, then he slows down. If you move a little bit not straight enough, then he slows down, though not as bad as all the way. If you pay attention to wherever he's facing, there's this little meter that is there and a needle pointing in the direction that you're currently aiming. That gives you a good idea of whether or not you are turning too quickly and may actually reduce his speed by doing so. Now, you can actually move alongside of a wall as long as you're kind of careful about it. You can touch the walls very briefly like that and not lose too much speed. But if you hit it at like a sharp angle or something like that, then you will slow down. Now, that's even before we've talked about his attack. His attack is Battle Bumper. This attack does a couple of things, okay? First of all, it increases your speed by 2 lights. So that's a 1/4 of his maximum damage. And because you have 2 ammo, you can actually speed up pretty quickly by using them both in quick succession. If you accidentally hit a wall or something like that, you can quickly use the ammo to try and get some speed back. Now, additionally, his attack damage is doubled briefly after you activate it. So you can see right there, it goes from 1800 to 3600, and you are able to get 2 bots with it if you do it at just like the perfect time. However, most of the time, if you want to actually hit an enemy, you have to attack it almost exactly before you actually hit them in order to get the extra damage on them. I've spent a lot of time making mistakes playing against bots and actually using the attack a little bit too late. Don't do that. Do it right before. Now, using this when you are at maximum speed does not further increase your movement speed. It does give you what looks like a little bit of a boost. It's not a boost. It just slams the ground. However, it's really useful in getting up to max speed if you're not already there. I do want to point out here, though, that if you actually activate it like right as you're taking a corner, you can use it to kind of make some sharper turns. I haven't figured out the exact usage for this, but definitely keep that in mind. You still can't do like a full 180 though, so don't try that. Next, we have Bolt's Super, which is Overdrive. Activating the Super significantly increases his acceleration, so that helps you reach your maximum speed very quickly. The Super lasts for 4 seconds, and it does leave this trail on the ground everywhere you roll for those 4 seconds, which does damage enemies. I'll show you right here the damage that it can do. It deals 1100 damage per tick and can do damage up to 5 times. That's 5,500 damage, which is crazy. Something to keep in mind though is that enemies won't just stand on top of it, and the damage does actually, it's not lighting them on fire. It gives them 1 tick after they get off of it to do a little bit of damage. Now, in addition to that, he also gets a damage reduction whenever he is using his super. All the damage that he takes while using his super is reduced by 40%, and it does work even if Bolt isn't moving. Bolt also has a unique trait. Well, it's not really that unique because Max also has it, but it's a star power. As you can see right here, Bolt's super charges based off of his movement, okay? So Spinning around in a circle, which you can do with Max, will charge his super, but it does it very slowly. For Bolt, if you want to get his super charging up, you want to get moving as quickly as you possibly can. That's going to help you charge up his super. It still takes a long time to charge up if you're not hitting enemies, though. As you can see right here, it just takes a long time. Bolt's first gadget is Oil Change. This is a very simple one. It is a temporary health shield and is based off of how fast he goes. So without any movement, it does a 2,000 health shield, but at maximum speed, it's a 4,000 health shield, which is really nice. And this pairs very well with his super because his super gives him damage reduction. So it multiplies essentially the effect of it. Really hard to show in this training area though. Bolt's second gadget is Bouncy Ball. Now this is an aimable gadget that makes Bolt jump to a target location, which is cool. It does have a downside though, besides its 20-second cooldown time. The downside of it is that it makes Bolt lose all speed when he lands. So that's unfortunate. However, there are some more upsides. He can actually use it to break walls, which could be interesting. It might be really good for Bolt. It might be really bad for Bolt. It's hard to say. Typically tanks really thrive when there's lots of walls for them to hide behind, but Bolt's different. Lots of walls means lots of bumping into things, losing speed and doing less damage, and that's a problem. So nice big wide open spaces, because he keeps on breaking the walls, could be really good for him. It will certainly give him a lot more space to move around in and get his speed up and keep himself going quickly. Now something interesting here is that he can actually aim the gadget behind him, so he can grab gems and then jump away and then super away like that, right? Additionally, this gadget can be used to deal some damage. It does 1,200 damage when it hits an enemy, which could be helpful in some situations. Bolt's first star power is Toss Up. This is a really simple super or star power, and what it does is it tosses enemies up if he hits them when he is at maximum speed. It's a really simple star power that is very effective against brawlers like Frank or other ones who have attack delays, because he can interrupt them and knock them up. And this is also useful for defending in Brawl Ball, because you can knock enemies away if you happen to hit them just right. His second star power is Unstoppable. This makes Bolt's super even more effective and will probably be my go-to star power. What it does is it makes it so that Bolt is immune to crowd control while he is using his super, and he gets 15% maximum speed boost while using his super. Just an overall really good ability of him. I mean, look how fast he's going. It's just crazy. Okay, let's see the speed boost right here very clearly. Yeah, it's hard to say. 15%. I don't know how strong that is. We'll see. Okay, we're moving and super. Okay, yeah, I could tell a little bit better that time because I waited until the camera had moved into position. Just an overall really good ability for him. Now, Bolt is not being released with a hypercharge unless they happen to give him one before he's released, and I believe June. That's a possibility. I don't know. That's a couple months from now. But yeah, Bolt's weird. We're going to test him out in the Olympic events, a series of tests to compare him to every other brawler in the game, but he's weird. Really fun. Because he's a zoomer. That was the wrong term, right? He zooms around. I don't know, maybe he's a zoomer too. But he's super fast, a lot of fun, but how good is he? We'll see. And then I'm going to talk about how strong I think he's going to be. Normally I do that and break it down into each individual game mode. I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video because Bolt is different. But yeah, then we'll do all of his voice lines and pins. Let's start with his worst event. First is the attack range test. Bolt only does damage by running into enemies. He doesn't fire any projectiles. He doesn't slam the ground around him if he's standing still. He doesn't even have an attack radius. He doesn't have any range at all. So he has 0 tiles for his attack range test. It gets dead last. It's 104th place out of all the brawlers. Next is supercharge test. This test is really difficult to measure because not only does Bolt slightly charge his super while he's moving, but the amount that he charges by hitting enemies is dependent on how much damage he does. From a complete stop to a fully charged super, Bolt's able to charge his super with 4 hits in 10 seconds. He gets 103rd place. That suggests his super will not be charged up very frequently. Though his super charges so differently than other brawlers, so I don't know. He might have it up all the time. Next is the reload test. This is another test that's sort of weird. Honestly, all of these are kind of weird for him. His main attack isn't actually what deals damage to enemies. It only boosts the damage that he deals by running into them. But I did go ahead and measure how long it takes to reload 10 attacks anyway. It takes him 26.7 seconds. That puts him 102nd place out of the 104 brawlers. Next, we have auto aim test. Auto aim test is based off of attack range and how much damage you can deal from that distance. He doesn't have any attack range and his attack doesn't do damage. But as long as Bolt is touching an enemy, all he has to do is move to deal damage. So he's not completely scoreless in this test. He deals 1,080 damage from 0 tiles away. It puts him in 101st. The only brawlers who do worse are ones that cannot auto-aim with their attacks because they just miss. Okay, super range test. Okay, just like his main attack, Bolt's super is only used for utility and stat buffs, so it doesn't have range either. However, there are a few other brawlers with similar types of supers that don't do any damage and also have 0 range, like Rosa, Ali, Leon, RT. He ties with them for 100th place. Okay, we have the area test next. Bolt is now the first brawler in the game that is able to break skulls just by moving around. His attack doesn't break any, but I thought it was fair to at least give him 9 skulls for his attack since he breaks any skull he comes in contact with. His super doesn't break any skulls, but his second gadget does break 12 skulls. So Bolt breaks 21 skulls in total, gets them 93rd place. Though I suppose if we gave him enough time, he could just walk around and break all of the skulls. So he's the best at the area test. Low key though, no, he's not, but he's good. I don't know. Okay, next is the box test. Bolt's able to roll through any number of boxes, but in order to keep his speed up, it takes him a second or two to turn around and hit the boxes again. He's one of the few brawlers in the game that can use his super in this test, since he doesn't need to hit any boxes in order to charge it up. He completes the box test in 56.8 seconds. That gets him 81st place. Next is the swarm test. Bolt is wide enough to deal damage to 2 rows of bots at a time. He doesn't need very much speed to one-shot them. He uses his super to keep his speed as high as possible and just rolls through the swarm down and back once to destroy all of the bots before his super runs out. He defeats the swarm in 4.8 seconds and he ties him with Colette for 52nd place. Those are Bolt's first half of the test. He was worse than half the brawlers. The rest of these, he's better than half the brawlers. He's a weird brawler to test out. Let's start off with a 1 second DPS test. Bolt can't hit an enemy more than once within the same second just by moving around, but the burn damage from his super does hit within the same second. He can also deal some extra damage just in time using his second gadget. He's able to deal 8,406 damage in 1 second and gets 46th place. Obviously, you can see here that using his gadget in some situations can deal some decent damage, but only with this gadget. Next is the boss test. This is a weird one. In order to maintain top speed, Bolt has to make small circles around the boss after each hit. His gadget doesn't really help him since it completely depletes his speed and doesn't deal enough damage to make up for that. So he just keeps on using supers and rolling through the boss until it's destroyed. He's able to defeat the boss in 34.5 seconds and gets 42nd place. Next is the assassin test. Bolt just rolls around in circles for 3 seconds while using his super to burn the boss and keep his speed up. His main attack is also used before each hit to increase the damage of each hit, but he can only hit the boss a couple of times if he wants to keep his speed up. He deals 14,052 damage in 3 seconds and gets 41st place. Obviously, this is much harder to do against a moving enemy target. Next, we have the 3 attack kill test. If Bolt is moving at top speed, he deals 1,800 damage to enemies. However, if he uses his ammo right before he hits an enemy, he will deal double the damage for just a second. 3 hits with double the damage adds up to 10,800 damage, which is enough to take out 98 brawlers in the game. That's a ton of damage with 3 attacks, but it's very not easy to compare to other attacks because it's weird. But anyway, he ties with Maisie for 25th place. Next, we have the survival test. Now, Bolt starts out at top speed so he can get the most HP on his shield created by his first gadget. He has 10,800 health, so he definitely has time to use more shields, but since he doesn't have the room to move up to top speed and is not allowed to dodge in this test, future gadget uses are not as strong as the first one. He survives for 39 seconds and ties with Kaze for 20th place, suggesting he is going to be pretty good at surviving. And I will attest to that. As such a fast-moving brawler, he's going to be excellent at surviving if you're not playing him like an idiot. Next, we have the splash test. Now, I let Bolt move up to max speed before rolling into the boxes and then use his super as well as one of his ammo. And it really only takes one good dash through the boxes to break them, since the burn damage from his super deals so much damage. He completes the splash test in only 4 seconds. That puts him in 14th place. Okay, next we have the race test. Not even his best test, but he's really good. Bolt uses his gadget to start since it depletes all of his speed and then quickly uses his super to move up to max speed as fast as possible. He definitely has the fastest natural movement speed in the game, and his super plus his main attack just makes him even faster, especially when paired with his second star power. He finishes the race test in 5.9 seconds and ties with Mo for 4th place. And finally, his best test, the super damage test. Now, as we've seen in previous tests, Bolt has the potential to deal 3,806 damage with his super on the first hit if he's at max speed and one of his ammo is used. What's really crazy is how much burn damage is created to an enemy who stands on top of the area. Enemies burn for 5 seconds if they stay on top of it, and they take 2,200 damage each of those seconds, which is 10,800 damage just from that. Bolt deals 14,806 damage in total with only his super, and that puts him in 3rd place. Against a stationary target, of course, but the heist safe exists, so yeah. Okay, so at this point in the video, I would go and I would rank Bolt in all the different game modes and put him anywhere between the F tier and the S tier, right? Tell you how strong I think he's gonna be. I've play tested him maybe more than any other brawler, like against bots ever, and I have no idea how strong he's going to be. I'm just going to be honest with you guys and just tell you, I just don't know. I could see him being F tier, like worst of the worst. I could also see him being crazy obnoxious and annoying, one of the best brawlers in the game, S tier. I could also see him being in the middle, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to be crazy broken or crazy weak. So I'm just going to throw up some gameplay and just talk about some of the interesting things that I realized. Okay, so Bolt has some very unique strengths and some very unique weaknesses. When it comes to strengths, it's his speed. He can get wherever he wants to very quickly in comparison to other brawlers. No other brawler has this same ability like he does. Like, yeah, you can kind of consider like Mortis or even like Melody with her dashes and stuff. Daryl even has some, but none of them have such a low requirement for speed like Bolt does. Bolt just literally needs to be moving in roughly a straight line, but it doesn't even have to be super straight, because as long as you're using your attack and your super in the right ways, you can make some quick turns. It takes a little bit of practice, and I will tell you, when I first started playing him, I was like, holy crap, he's F tier in every single game mode. He's the worst. And then the more I got used to playing with him, I was like, man, I can really see the potential. Until my last couple matches, I was like, oh my gosh, he could be broken. But I don't know if that's because I'm facing off against bots who don't know how to aim against a crazy moving fast target. I just don't know. So yeah, so you have game modes like Heist and Brawl Arena, where and even like Gem Grab, where getting to specific location, and Brawl Ball as well. Game modes where getting to a specific location where you want to go quickly is a really big benefit. I could see him being crazy strong. Now, he also has some very clear weaknesses as well. He sucks in 1v1 fights. He's terrible, like literally, like he cannot do enough damage long term to be able to take any brawler out, really, unless you pair him up with like a really good super, some well-timed attacks. For some reason, they stay inside the trail's super. Maybe you use his gadget to land on them and finish them off. For some very weak brawlers, he could be good in some 1v1s. But even against like a brawler like, let's consider Tick, for example, who sucks at hitting fast moving targets, even in that situation, very rarely is Bolt actually going to be able to do enough damage to take Tick out. He's excellent at doing hit and runs, right? He comes in, he deals some damage, he gets out of there, and that's really, really good for Bolt. And Tick is going to suck against Bolt. Even brawlers like Grom, Dynamite, no chance, right? There's no way you're hitting him unless you happen to catch him when he's really slow or something like that. But against any brawler with a decent amount of health, like there's just nothing that Bolt can do to really do enough damage to take them out. And a lot of the times, it's really hard for him to actually survive an encounter in a 1v1 with some brawlers. Just imagine like a Shelly. Bolt can't get anywhere close to Shelly. She's like a straight up super hard counter. He gets close to her, she fires off a couple of attacks and then shotguns him. Like, he just has to run away from her the entire match. That's all Bolt can do against a Shelly matchup. And that's the same case for a lot of brawlers who have just really good close-up burst potential when they're auto-aiming against a target. Bolt can't touch them. He can't do damage to them at all. So there are some situations in like Brawl Ball or Showdown or just honestly maybe even some bounty matchups and just against specific brawlers where Bolt just literally cannot do anything against them. He's a terrible first pick brawler because he's so easy to counter. But as a last pick, man, he could make some very interesting plays, and I'm really excited to mess around with him. Zooming around is incredibly satisfying for him. It's really, really fun. Just the speed, the sheer speed is so good, especially in Brawl Arena. There was one point in my clip where I was able to get like a kaiju buff, which speed buffs you. I was able to get to power 15, which also speed buffs you. And then just like moving at maximum speed, you could just get anywhere you want to. No other brawler has the ability to travel that kind of distance in such a quick matchup. Now, getting ramped up in that damage is really, really hard because facing off against all of the bots is really difficult. When I mean the bots, I mean like the farming jungle area with all the little bots there. They're really hard to solo. He's really hard at 1v1ing a lot of brawlers. You kind of have to like just go and assist teammates and hope you can help do a little bit of damage and get some kills. And so then you have like some game modes like Hot Zone where I just don't know that he's going to be that great because you have to literally just stay on the zone. But I just have no idea. He could be crazy strong, crazy weak, and maybe in the middle. Solo Showdown is really, really weird for him. Opening up the boxes is just like weird. In fact, like most of the time, like if you try and deal with the boxes, enemy brawlers are going to come up and like he might be absolutely awful in Solo Showdown. I completely gave up on doing 1v1 fights and instead tried to just get an assist on somebody and steal power cubes. You know how Mortises sometimes do that in Showdown, and it's just like really obnoxious and weird. He's gonna be awful in Showdown, I think, but maybe he'll actually be really good in being able to just escape and get away from enemies. He might just be able to survive because nobody can touch him, right? Then again, there's lots of brawlers who do like hide around in bushes, and I could see him like just moving around, trying to charge his super, get some speed going on, and then enemies just like supering him. So that's weird. Some other interesting things about him is the fact that he doesn't require ammo in order to deal damage. And that makes sense, and that's good and cool. But what this means is that he actually can spend a lot of time healing in situations where other brawlers would actually struggle. So like a lot of brawlers, they unload their ammo and then they need to fall back to heal, and that gives enemy like area control, right? With Bolt, he can do some damage, he can take some damage and then like run away and then just circle back. As soon as he's healed back up, he can get right back to the action. So that's interesting and might be really good for him. The health gear is really quite excellent for him. I highly recommend it. Maybe even the shield gear and not the damage gear, because he's not actually that great at doing damage. He's more about just getting where you need to be. Though, if he's doing damage and he's attacking enemies, and he's going to be taking a lot of damage, so the attack gear might actually be really good, or the damage gear. One thing to pay attention to in Brawl Ball is that if he picks up the ball, it actually caps his speed to like 3.5 lights, and you cannot go faster than that. If you're going faster than that, when you pick up the ball, you instantly slow down to that point. He's still really fast in that situation. My recommendation is to pick up the ball, pass it up, and then roll to the ball, get some speed going, and you can kind of do that to maintain a lot of really good speed. And that's actually really excellent for Brawl Ball. He just might be excellent at scoring goals. He's awful at defending them though, because he can't do a whole lot of damage. If you do get the star power that knocks enemies up into the air, then that could be really excellent. But yeah, I don't know. I genuinely just don't know how good he's going to be. And I'm actually really curious to know what you guys think after watching some of this gameplay and seeing how he does in these tests. Do you think he's gonna be broken or super weak? I don't know. Either way, he's a lot of fun. Let me know in the comment section below using #Bolt if you want to share how strong or weak you think he's going to be. That'll make it a little bit easier for me to see what you guys actually think of him. Wow, okay. Let's show you all his voice lines and pins. What a crazy brawler.
Call the tow truck! Engine failure! Time for the safety car! Fatal fusion! I spun out! Fumes of fury! You boil my oil! Stay in your lane! Time for pit stop! Just a small bump in the road! Road rage! Eat my skid marks. End of the road for you. You ran out of gas. You got lapped. No pit crew is gonna save you. Box, you done. Bolt and joke. P1 as usual. Pole position. Pine-scented perfection. Beep, 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 beep. Buckle up, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Full throttle, zero mercy. Honk if you like pain. Beep, beep. Brake pedal, what's that? Room, meet your doom. 3, 2, 1, go! Let's put the pedal to the metal. Engaging power core. Maximum speed vortex. World rage! Crash and